Wow. Wow. Just got finished watching Cleveland and Pittsburgh. And before I get into the rest of the wild card weekend, I gotta talk about this game first. Like, that was absolutely nuts. Like, absolutely crazy. Like, I predicted the Browns to win. I honestly didn't expect them to win like that. Like, Baker Mayfield did good. He did decent. He didn't turn the ball over. Both them running backs, Kareem Hunt and Nick Chubb, they both played excellent. Jarvis Landry played good, but the biggest thing was in the first quarter. Like, Pittsburgh lost the game just in the first quarter. Like, for y'all to be down 28-0 in the first quarter, that's not even, like, the 3 interceptions ain't even the worst part. The fact that Cleveland scored after every interception, I think that was the biggest thing that could have happened. Like, being so optimistic, like I think, like, that's how you win games. Like that's not just how you win games. That's how you steal games. Like, I know that, like, the Steelers made it a little bit of a game in the third quarter, but they were down so much. Like Pittsburgh was down so much, they would, like, that they had to do almost the impossible for them to come back. And for them to make that many mistakes, that's what led them losing this game, just in the first quarter alone. Like, I know he threw for over 500 yards, but he threw the ball almost 70 times. He threw the ball 68 times. And that's never going to win you a game, ever. Like, that's not, like, that's going to always lose you a game every time because you don't have a running game backing you up. And that was their downfall this year. Like, they didn't have a running game all year long. And I think that was the biggest problem. And, like, James Conner, I think he was a Pro Bowler his first year as a starter. But me personally, I think they gave it to him off the strength of him having a good season after Le'Veon Bell didn't show up that season. Like, I honestly didn't think he deserved to be in a Pro Bowl, but whatever, they gave it to him. But since then, like, he hasn't done anything. He didn't show up this year in terms of a running back. Like, as a complete running back, he wasn't it. Like, they almost lost to the Cowboys. Like, there's been plenty of games that like they lost to Washington. Like, they lost, like, I can't, like, this team, like, there was a reason why they called this team the worst 11-0 team in NFL history. Like, there was a reason for it. Like, everybody saw them for their flaws. Like, even when they went 11-0, nobody really expected them to win the Super Bowl because they didn't have the team for it. Like, yeah, they had the defense, they had the receivers, but their biggest issue was a lack of a running game. And you can see how, like, in the last month of the season, how many times their receivers drop the ball. As great as their receivers are, like, realize something. This is only Juju's probably second or third game over 100 yards receiving since AB has been out of Pittsburgh. This is only probably like his second or third time. So, I mean, what are you gonna do? You know what I'm saying? Like, I think that was, like, one of their biggest problems, man. Is, like, their lack of a running game for them to have to rely on the short passing game as a running game is no, you can't win like that. Now, yeah, he threw for over 500 yards, but he needed to throw the ball 68 times to do it. You throw for 4 touchdowns, but you also throw for 4 interceptions, and that ain't gonna get it done. So no. So next up, we got the Saints and the Bears. I mean, I kind of called that. Like, Mitch Trubisky is out of there. Like, he's not going to be in Chicago next year. I think that they're not going to re-sign him. I think his contract is up this year. So, he's going to be out of there. So, that Bears defense held up as long as they could, man. Like, that Bears defense showed up. Regardless of them giving up 21 points, they made that Saints offense work for it. Like, they made them work for it. So it's not like, they really took them down easily. Like the Bears made them work for it. So made it to a game, but at the end of the day, man, that Saints offense was that Saints offense is what it is. I honestly think that this is Drew Brees' last year. Like, I think that he's not going to be a Saint next year, and I think that Taysom Hill is going to be the starter. But I was surprised that Michael Thomas came back in the lineup. I didn't read about him, being ready for this game, but that was a big help. He made that one big catch in the third quarter, that kind of got them into a scoring drive. So I think that was big for them. But, Saints moving on, and the Bears are really notorious for not having a good quarterback. And this year was no different. I think Mitchell Trubisky is out of there next year, so it is what it is with that one. But Saints won, and they moving on. Next up, Ravens and Titans. This is honestly the game that I wanted to see. Like, the Ravens defense really, really showed up. And that boy, they held King Henry to not only under 100 yards, they held him to under 50 yards. And I think that was the game changer, because they made Ryan Tannehill like they had to make him beat them. And Ryan Tannehill has never been that dude. As the reason why they got him out of Miami. Main reason why. You know what I'm saying? So, and Lamar Jackson, dog. Lamar Jackson is a beast, man. I'm going to say it now. I think this year that I can honestly say that after Tom Brady leaves, the days of the traditional drop back quarterback, them days is over. You can't just drop back in the you can't just drop back in the pocket and throw the ball anymore. That's not gonna do it no more. I think them days is done. The way Lamar Jackson ran the ball in the second half was absolutely crazy. He had some good passes here and there in the second half, but other than that, Lamar Jackson just torched that whole defense in the second half. And I think the days of the standard drop back pass is over and done with. And Lamar Jackson won the game. Lamar Jackson and that defense won the game. So they're moving on. Next up, we're going back to Saturday's games. I'm going to start off with Buffalo and Indianapolis. That game went how I thought it was going to go. I had Buffalo winning by 7. They ended up winning by 3. But, yeah, man, that dude Josh Allen is nice, man. That boy Stephon Diggs, man. Stephon Diggs is uncoverable, bro. His footwork, his his route running, his technique, bro, is undeniable, dog. And I think if the Bills didn't have Stephon Diggs, the Bills would probably be third, fourth, even fifth seed without him. Like, that dude Stephon Diggs, bro, is the truth. And he had a real big game Saturday. Josh Allen played really good. But also, on the other side, man, I thought Phillip Rivers didn't play bad. Both of their running backs, Jonathan and Taylor and Hines, they both had good games. I think all three of their tight ends were combined for like 14, 15 catches. They played a massive role in that game. Like, Buffalo really had a hard time covering their tight ends. Like, even their best cornerbacks, like they had a real tough time covering them. But end of the day, man, Josh Allen and Stephon Diggs came through for them. So that was big for them. Like I said, like, I'm not gonna be so long, with this video. I'm just giving, my initial takes on all 6 of these games. Like, I didn't want to be so long-winded. But next up we had the Rams and the Seahawks. That one, I honestly wasn't like. I had Seattle winning, and I honestly wasn't surprised that the Seahawks lost. But I was shocked at how they did it. Like, the second quarter on, Rams had complete control of that game. Like, I know, like, it was funny how, like, it's crazy how, how that whole quarterback situation happened. Like, he was dressed to play, but he didn't start. But the backup quarterback ended up getting hurt, and now he has to play after he just got thumb surgery. Like, it just, 5-6 days of him coming off of thumb surgery, and they had to bring him in, and he didn't look good at all. Honestly, like, he was 9 for 20, 9 for 19 or whatever. Like, he didn't look good. Like, it was really some plays that he was just off. Didn't look good coming out of his hands, but that Rams defense showed up. Russell Wilson, like, I'm not surprised at how Russell Wilson looked. Like, honestly, there's been a lot of times in his career where he threw 2 or 3 picks and he still ended up finding a way to win. Like, Russell Wilson is notorious for having a streak of just bad games, but still coming up with ways to win. And this game just wasn't it. Like, I knew that DJ Metcalf may have a decent game, but I didn't think Tyler Lockett wasn't gonna be a no-show. Like, outside of that one-handed grab on the sideline, Tyler Lockett was a no-show. And I think one of the biggest difference in the game was Cam Akers running the ball for the Rams. Like, they ran the ball really well, and I think that's what won Rams the game, because if they would have had to leave it to Jared Goff to throw the ball, I think that game would have went totally different. Just because of I think he wasn't fully recovered throwing the football. So I think it was very important how Cam Akers played that game, and I think that was the reason why they won. Cam Akers ran for over 120 yards, so good for him. So after that game, last game, Tampa Bay and Washington. There were 3 surprises to me in that game. One was Alex Smith not playing. That surprised me. I thought they was gonna just force him to play, and he ended up not playing. So, dude named Heineke, like, that was one surprise to me. The second surprise was how good he played. Like, I don't know anything about him, honestly, and he really, really had a good game. Like, he played really good. Like, he threw for over 200 yards. He he ran for a touchdown. He was getting them out of situation with his feet. Like, he played really good. Like, I was really surprised by his production. The third surprise was how many points was scored in this game. Like, I thought that Washington was gonna keep them from out the end zone. Like I didn't think Tom Brady was gonna get them to score over 30 points. Like, I didn't think that was happening. You know, like, I knew that the Buccaneers would win the game. I thought they'd win by 2 touchdowns. I just didn't think they was gonna score that many points to do it. You know, and look, Tom Brady is Tom Brady still. But I think after he leaves, like, after he's done, like, I think that the days of being a drop back passer, I think them days is over. So, I mean, like I said earlier in this video, I think them days are numbered. But Tom Brady played a really, really good game. So, you know, they both, you know, the Buccaneers moving on. And, you know, Mike Evans, that second half of Mike Evans really showed up big time. Like, whenever the Buccaneers needed a big play, Mike Evans was right there to give it to him. You know, so, and what do you know? They're going to be playing the Saints again next week. Third time. Like, I'll give my prediction later on in the week, man, but that right there is going to be the one. Like, that, I think that right there is going to be the game of the week because it's going to be in the dome again. So, we're going to see what happens, man. I'll give my predictions for the divisional round probably Wednesday, you know, and hope you guys enjoy.